The next speaker will be Charlie Gehring, who will be focusing on New Netherlands as a topic.
Yeah, I was just going.
And if you could just maybe tell us where were the major settlements in New Netherlands?
Did you want to? It'll probably fit into this anyway. I think it's going to fit into most of these. These are very broad topics. This, of course, is a later map that shows what the original map, the color. But it's very important that right in the very beginning to show the importance of this location, the geographical significance of New Netherlands. It goes up here, the Mohawk River goes out here. It's the only opening to the west below the St. Lawrence River until 1751 when the Cumberland Gap is opened up. So everyone had to go through here. The English are sitting out here, as Russell Shorto says, on a shelf. And the Dutch have control of this route, this opening to the west. The Indians bring the furs in, down. The Dutch pick them up here, bring them down to Amsterdam, and then across to Europe. But the geographical configuration is extremely important.
It seems like the Hudson River in itself is a real channel that some of these other rivers didn't have.
Well,
they're not as big.
The other important river is the Delaware, because the Delaware comes up behind Fort Orange and Rensselaer's Way. Whoever controlled the Delaware controlled the Hudson. And Stuyvesant knew this. He says it in a document that if the English gain control of the Delaware River, we might as well go home, because they'll break into the fur trade and also ruin the troonship of Rensselaer's Way. So it's very important that this be displayed prominently somewhere. Yeah, you want to say more about it? Yeah.
We have already moved from one circle of New Amsterdam to a concentric circle of New Netherlands. But I think it's important to bear in mind that for the people who are actually living in New Netherlands, they were part of a much larger Atlantic world that relates not only to the Netherlands, but to other Dutch settlements like Brazil and Suriname and the West Indies, and also English and French.
I just came from a conference in the Netherlands 2 days ago called the Atlantic World and the Dutch, where we discussed it. We had people there from Brazil, Suriname, Guyana, the ABC Islands, Saba, St. Eustatius, Ghana, and New Amsterdam, as they introduced us in the beginning, and I corrected Carlos Dindi was very chagrined that he said New Amsterdam instead of New Netherlands. And this is a perception that we have to get rid of. If we say New Netherlands or New Amsterdam History Center, it's just going to reinforce that idea that New Netherlands was just the tip of Manhattan Island, was where New Amsterdam was. We need to keep people in the big picture from Connecticut River to Delaware Bay. And you can only do that by constantly saying New Netherlands. And New Amsterdam is important because it's central. But the other, this is Fort Orange. Rensselaer's Wick is approximately this, the counties present-day Albany and Rensselaer, about a little under 1 million acres of land. The Sopus, very early. This is where they used to lighten ships going up the river because of shoals in this area. They always had some sort of a naval presence there. Ships kept on duty so that they could lighten the loads to get the bigger ships floating. And then you had New Amsterdam. Down in the Delaware, you have the original Fort Nassau here. Just to avoid confusion, they had 3 Dutch Fort Nassaus during the New Netherlands period. The one up here, 1614, that was destroyed in the flood in 1617. Fort Nassau. We're in Camden, just south of Camden, New Jersey, which was built in 1620s, 1624, maybe as early as Fort Belhelmus was built in 1624, where Burlington Island is in the Delaware River. Fort Nassau was built in 1628, and then you have other settlements along the Delaware down to the opening of Delaware Bay, where Lewis, Delaware is. And this is the famous Ord Hill, or Ord Hill, which we've got to correct and make sure that people don't say it's because the women there were very loose. And this has been written about over and over again. It comes from Foren in Dutch. The Cape May is named after Mai, came from Foren. The Fries had a cruise ship there, and he came from Foren. Why wouldn't you name it after the place of location? The Dutch West India Company records never would have allowed the pejorative name. They never would have sanctioned it, so case closed. And then over here you had a fort at the mouth of the fresh river, the Verselrivier, followed by another fort up where Hartford is now, House of Tullahoe.
What period was that? What were the dates of that fort? Is that the Connecticut?
Yeah, about, I think, von Curler, Jacobus von Curler, 1632. 1632-33, I think it's 32 is when he starts building the fort up here.
So I was up in the Connecticut River Valley this last weekend, and they have a Go Dutch event that's been going on for the entire year of 2006. And I went into the Deerfield Museum and got a tie of partridge in a pear tree. That ain't Dutch, I don't know what is.
The pear tree was a favorite of Stuyvesant, and his ship was the Parabol, the pear trees. He went to Barbados aboard his ship, the pear tree. It's very, very important fruit.
Absolutely. Well, it seems to me that you would, go ahead. Well, as part of the digital images, if you click on a house or whatever, technically, we could have a little key that you click on to go to the New Netherland Institute website, where you have a lot of this information already captured. In fact, I think Russell Shorto's even written the text. So again, that virtual tour would be essentially integrated into. We don't have to create something new. You click it on. The website will allow you to go travel to another website, and who's ever looking at the History Center website won't know. Again, that's all legitimate. The Huguenot Society has a website that has lots of good information on it about their particular interests. I'm sure